Welcome back, everybody.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Man, Dom's over here killing me. It's killing me, man.
Yeah.
How's the week been going?
Oh, sorry.
Alright, we're starting all over.
We are?
Yeah.
Alright, go. We'll cut it.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody.
Happy Friday.
It's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
How's the week been going?
It's going pretty incredible now.
Yeah, it really
We
is.
finally got to make our big announcement.
What an announcement it was.
It was.
We have been so blown away again.
Yeah.
Just continuous levels of being blown away here.
Yeah.
It took a lot for us to not spill the beans.
I agree.
We probably knew about a week before we put the video out.
Yeah. What was going to be said.
Right. So, it took a lot. That was tough. There was so many people I wanted to just tell, and I wanted to tell everybody, really.
Yeah.
But we stuck to our guns. We're going to save it for Thursday, the 1 month.
And just drop the mic.
And drop the mic.
And see how it goes.
And the people have responded in droves.
They have.
In the video, I said we're at 33 subscribers, a third of the way to triple digits.
Yeah.
We're at 42.
Yeah, we're slowly approaching 50 all of a sudden.
We're almost halfway to triple digits
Yeah.
in just a few hours
Yeah,
since posting that. And then Instagram's blowing up.
The views on the announcement video across all social media platforms has been huge.
Yeah, so just thanks everybody for your continued support along this journey.
And now it's only going to get better.
I can promise you want to hop on the train right now. Because
it ain't stopped.
we ain't taking you after today.
Whoa,
No,
whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Come
I'm
on.
just kidding.
Always welcome.
But we're only going to get better from here.
Yep.
And things are only going to get better as a whole.
Yep.
We're going to be better. The quality's going to be better.
And it's all thanks to you guys.
Mm-hmm. And Anchor. Shout out to Anchor.
Shout out Anchor for the support. And I'm excited to continue seeing what we can work with them, you know?
Yeah. But now it's back to business.
Back to business.
We've
got a card to preview.
We have a big card this Saturday. And I'm just going to run down the main card here. The fights we'll be talking about later on in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Our main event, women's strawweight action.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, the karate hottie, Watterson, takes on the vet, Angela Hill.
Angela Overkill.
Yep.
Hill.
Yep. Co-main, lightweight action. Atman Azetar going up against Kama Worthy. That's a couple of names right there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some badass names.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is really the card. You can't sleep on this.
No, you really can't.
You
That's a
cannot
great
sleep on
co-main.
this.
I mean, I know the name value's not necessarily there,
Exactly.
but that fight's gonna be crazy. Third fight, women's flyweight action. Roxanne Modafferi taking on Andrea Lee. Then our fourth fight, light heavyweight action. Ed Herman, another vet.
Yeah.
Ultimate Fighter Season 3 vet.
2006.
That's crazy. Going up against Mike Rodriguez, who just fought on
3
3
weeks ago. August 22nd. Knockout win. No big
and
deal.
we're opening the night with the featherweight fight between Billy Quarantillo going up against Kyle Nelson. What a last name. We've all been stuck in quarantine.
Quarantine.
Anyways. But we'll talk about those fights later on in the episode. But first, it's time for the news.
The news. Let's get into it.
We have a decent amount of news this week, actually.
We've had a couple slower episodes.
Yeah, last episode was big, and now this one's popping off.
Oh, yeah.
We're obviously going to start with Tuesday night.
We have to.
Dana White's Tuesday night contender. Dom.
Tuesdays are the best nights of the week.
Dom, you're literally the contender guy.
I'm the contender guy.
Yeah, so you get to talk about it.
All right. This was week 6 in 2020 of the Dana White Contender Series. 5 fights, 4 contracts given out. Starting off, the first fight of the night was at middleweight. Oh, this is a tough name. Do you want to give it a try because you're the name guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Right there in that circle.
Aliaskhab Khizrov.
There it is. So, what Noah said, dominated, absolutely dominated, a 50-second round 1 rear naked choke to start the night off.
He's the one from Dagestan, right?
Yo.
Yeah, I believe he is.
He might be.
I think so.
But I can't answer it.
I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
That was the second fastest submission in Contender Series history.
Really?
Fun fact. He is now 13-0 as a professional. He got a contract.
My man's got a little bit of chub on him. My man might need to start.
He'll choke your ass out.
Oh, hey, I got some chub on me, but I'm just saying that I just noticed, like, for a guy, what division was it?
Middleweight.
Not that middleweight's like a small division, but you know, usually the guys fighting there, you don't see a whole lot of you don't see a lot of skin.
They were big dudes.
He had some, like, it looked like he could easily, if he got in the right diet, cut down, or bulk up, either one. Yeah. But yeah, continue.
Second fight of the night, Draco Rodriguez in all. Oh, this was a bantamweight, men's bantamweight. In all caps, I wrote, "Put him to sleep!" Exclamation point. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into round 1 with a triangle choke. Draco got a contract. Fight number 3 of the evening, Philip Halls, another middleweight fight. In all caps, OMG, he slept him. Noah, the notepad was on fire Tuesday night.
There's a lot of caps.
A lot of all caps here.
There's a lot of caps on that notepad.
Listen. 1 minute and 18 seconds into round 1, a TKO. Now, you see there's a trend here.
I'm seeing
3 fights, 3 finishes, 3 first round finishes. The combined fight time between all 3 is less than 1 whole round. Want to hear another fun fact?
What's that?
This was the first time since August of 2018 where the Contender Series started with 3 back-to-back-to-back finishes.
Wow.
And they were all in the first round.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yes. Very, I must say. For Philip Halls, he now has 6 out of his 8 wins by KO, TKO. Our fourth fight of the night was the only one that did not see a contract given. It was Cameron Church versus Sherrard Blackledge. An incredible fight, back and forth action. I wrote absolute slobber knocker down for the first round because it was crazy. Very back and forth on the feet. Sherrard ended up pulling away because he was very dominant on the ground. He also trains at Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas, so I figured I'd take that down, nice. A little note. Now, however, he did not get a contract, but he was invited back in November, which we're seeing Dana do a lot these past 2 weeks, even with fighters that lose or win. So that's good to know for him.
I feel like he kind of has to because he doesn't have to do anything. But
right.
I feel like he recognizes that the guys they have in there right now are potentially the last group of guys they were really able to get a decent scout on before they brought him on.
Yeah.
Because, again, with all the crazy stuff going on in the world right now, most of these low-level promotions aren't able to hold fights. Mm-hmm. So, the talent doesn't just pop up in the UFC. They have to work their way up.
Right.
It's like minor league baseball,
Yeah.
So now you basically wipe out the entire minor leagues. It's like, well, how do we know when these prospects are ready for the big time?
Right.
So you have these guys on here, on Contender. They're going up against other guys that are looked at as being borderline UFC level at least.
Right.
So why not ask him to come back? I like the concept. I mean, again, I mentioned this before. There's a very asshole part of my mind that's like, oh, I love the idea of it's like you get one shot.
Yeah.
You either get the contract or you don't. Like one shot, that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of raises the stakes, but
I think it really shows that they think highly of you.
yeah, the more pure side of me, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, goes, no, I just like that guys are getting opportunities,
Yeah.
and if they're good enough to at least be like, okay, maybe bring them back.
Right.
I think that's cool.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So overall, what did you think as a whole? I mean, obviously 3 first-round finishes.
Yeah. Well, we've got one more fight.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's 5.
So the 5th fight of the night. Woo! Tayfon Nchukwi.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if that's right, but
Man, well, we're going with it.
yeah, I like the confidence.
Light heavyweight action. Went up against Al Matavao. Slugfest, I wrote. And this time I put Nchukwi is a beast and relentless. You want to know what my second line of this fight is? All caps. You're going to like this one.
Mm-hmm.
OMG. Head kick. See you later, alligator. Night night. That is what is written on my notepad. 2 minutes and 1 second into round 2, Tayfon lands a disgusting head kick that sent Al backwards. Head slammed against the canvas. He went into the deep sleep. Anyway.
Purgatory.
No, just hey.
The deep. He went to REM.
REM sleep.
There
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
What the hell? I came up
Hey.
with purgatory.
I don't know what you're doing. But this man is built like a statue, first off. Again, a beast, relentless, forward pressure the whole entire fight. Brutal head kick, very good striking. Watch out for Tayfon. That was my fighter of the night out of the 5 fights. And he, of course, earned the 4th contract.
Cool.
That's the Contender Series.
So overall, 4 contracts given out.
Yep, 4 out of 5.
One brought back.
Yep.
Sounds like it was a really good night of fights
Oh, yeah.
that I missed.
Again.
Again.
You know, I'm not sad. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm just
all right?
disappointed.
I don't want to hear it.
All right.
But, you know what I do want to hear?
Oh, I know what you want to hear.
Afterwards, Dana White does his usual post-fight media scrums.
We love the media scrums.
The post-fight press conferences. I love it. I always listen to any time Dana has an interview. He says when he comes back from our next batch of fights on Fight Island, he's going to be filming a little something called The Ultimate Fighter.
It's back.
The reboot. It's back.
It's been a while.
Now, here's the question I want to ask you, Dom. Because we know what The Ultimate Fighter is.
Right.
We know what it's capable of being.
Right.
Since it's been worded as a reboot, I'm definitely thinking that means there's going to be some changes.
Returners? Oh.
No, I just think there's going to be changes.
To how the formatting
Yeah, because you have to understand that the format is kind of stale when you really think about it. The reality TV
They
show
live in a
format.
house.
Like,
they do challenges.
They've done pretty much everything that can be done with that concept for for the UFC has been done. You have the guy that struggles to make a weight cut. You have the guy that wants to leave, wants to be kicked off, whatever. Always drama with the coaches and near brawls, obviously, stuff like that. You see a lot of training sessions. It's just it's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's stuff that you see quite a bit, and it can be very exciting still. But it, the recipe, it's run dry. The well is run dry.
Yeah.
So I think that we might see some moving away from some of those reality TV show formats.
Well, and they have to film it now during a global pandemic,
Right?
Which is going to be intriguing to see how they work that out.
I don't know how they're going to go about it. Maybe they'll just do the same thing, and that's fine. I'll be cool with it. I'm just saying that I feel like if it's worded as a reboot, that reboot in film or television, it means that it's a concept, it's something. Think of okay, so you had the original Star Wars movies, right?
Yeah.
The first 3 back in the 70s and 80s, and then these new ones by Disney that started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, even though it's a sequel, The Force Awakens is a sequel technically. It's the next in the series. It's also looked at as like kind of a soft reboot of the original Star Wars.
Right.
Because so many of the story notes are based off what happened in the original movie. I don't know if you've ever have you seen
I've not seen any of the new ones.
Wow,
People are going to roast me badly.
Yeah, you should be for that.
Yeah.
But, anyways, point is that a reboot, in essence, is you would take something that's already been done and you bring it back with
a little twist.
With tweaks and twists, and you make it your own, but it's based on a non-original concept.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
This would be the 29th season, I think.
That's so crazy.
That's crazy.
I can't believe they've done it that long. Like, well, not that long.
Well, they've done them 2 a year.
Yeah.
They don't just do like most shows and do one season a year. They've been doing for the most part two seasons.
They definitely have to do something different because if you notice where most of the talent comes from now, it's Tuesday Night Contender.
Yeah.
And really, I've watched an MMA on Point video breaking this down. Go check it out. I don't know the title of it off the top of my head, but it's like, where does the talent come from or something like that. Dana White Looking for a Fight, the like web show.
Love that show.
Has gotten just as much talent that's still fighting in UFC as like some of the later seasons of The Ultimate Fighter has.
Really?
Yeah.
That show's awesome.
In that show, you're bringing in like one, maybe two guys per episode, maybe.
Yeah, and there's not that many episodes of that.
So, kind of telling, right? So they definitely need to try to change it up somehow, and I think that they definitely plan on it if they're bringing it back.
Yeah.
My question, though, who do you think the coaches are going to be? Because I have two that sound pretty interesting.
That's a really good question. So you got to think. This
so
is going to happen.
What would have been ideal would have been Adesanya and Costa.
Right.
But that obviously ain't going to happen now.
So this is going to be... What if they did Stipe and Ngannou?
Yeah.
Do a heavyweight season.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. I'll go with that one.
Okay. Masvidal, Nate Diaz.
Wow.
Think of how great TV that would be.
Oh, it would be great TV.
I don't know if those guys would do it.
Exactly. That was the... It's a great idea. That's where I was like,
Nate is a bet of the Ultimate Fighter.
That's true.
That was the first
That's
two.
interesting.
That was the first two that came to my head that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Stipe and Ngannou would as well. Because Stipe's already been a coach before. He did it with DC.
Oh, that would have been the last season they did, isn't it?
Yeah, with their first...
Did they do the one with Nico? Was that one?
I have
Sheesh,
not seen,
man. There's too many seasons.
Yeah, I haven't seen that many.
Well, maybe they wouldn't do Stipe and Ngannou then.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I think it's...
I'm trying to think. So if this is going to be after Fight Island, that means Costa and Israel would have fought.
I mean, you have Cody, Davis, and Figueiredo.
Yeah, but that's in November. Can they really film it all?
Yeah. And then you have, like, Amanda Nunes, Megan Anderson, which I don't think is, like, super interesting.
Habib and Justin are fighting in October.
That ain't gonna...
Reyes and Blachowicz are fighting.
In September. We're going backwards here.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like...
It would probably be, honestly, if they don't book either Stipe and Ngannou or if they somehow did Masvidal Diaz, it's probably going to be a fight will be announced and they will be the coaches.
Yeah, which means they would fight after the season's
maybe
over.
Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, you could do that one. Mm-hmm. That would be interesting. Aljamain's a great coach, man.
Maybe Usman Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, I
forgot about that.
A lot of options.
Yeah.
It just depends on the timing, really.
Yeah, overall, I'm excited to see it come back. Hopefully I'll actually watch it. But, we'll see what happens.
I'm not going to say nothing.
Moving on from there. Now we have some rebookings here, fights.
We'll see how this goes.
Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Kudaleba, you heard us talk about, if you've watched any of our...
Can we just keep them in the Performance Institute and let them sleep there for the next month until
this
they go to Abu
fight
Dhabi?
has happened once, ended very controversially, obviously.
Yes.
Kudaleba was like pretending to be hurt to like piss off Magomed or draw him in for like a shot, like pretending to be hurt. The referee gets too antsy and jumps in and stops the fight like 40 seconds in. But that fight was looking great for those first 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And those guys were intense. So the fight's been rebooked twice since that first one. Both times have fallen through due to Kudaleva testing positive twice for COVID. So now they have rebooked it again for UFC 254, Gaethje and Habib.
Woo!
So as if this card needs
That's,
this fight.
yeah, no kidding. This is just some icing on top.
Yeah, but overall, like, very excited to see. Hopefully, we get to finally see it again.
And it should be a barn burner.
I would hope so, man. I mean, I'm hoping I'm not getting excited and it turns out to be kind of a dud. Or if it doesn't happen again, then don't make this be the next Tony Habib. Like,
Right.
Just let it die.
Yeah.
You know, but overall, very excited to see it. And on that card, man, 254. Like,
And we've already broken that fight down, so.
yeah. Moving on from there, another fight announcement. I know
Yeah.
this one's gonna.
I like this.
This one's definitely gonna be your thing. Carla Esparza taking
Cookie
on
Monster.
Yep, taking on Amanda Rivas at UFC 256 to end 2020.
Yeah, that's the December 12th one, right?
Yep. So overall, what are your thoughts on this fight?
It's a fight that definitely makes sense for Ribas because she has so much hype behind her right now. It's a seasoned vet versus the up-and-coming prospect that a lot of people are big fans of. So I'm down for this fight. This is a big name that Ribas could potentially add to her resume, but you can't overlook Carla. Because as many losses as she has, she's always fighting the best competition there is and finds a way to win when people count her out the most. I mean, she just came off a win against Michelle Watterson, who we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. So that's a good fight. It's a fight that makes sense for both. Because Carla's here to prove something. So if she stops Watterson and then can beat Ribas as well, you could say she, just might be able to make her way back to a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ribas wins, that catapults her into that top 5 range for the division. So
Yeah, I mean, Carla, the OG strawweight champion.
Yep,
I think a lot of people counted her out based on the way she looked against Joanna, and that was a destruction. You have Carla, who's a natural wrestler, and Joanna's a very lethal striker.
Unbelievable.
People going into that fight really thought Carla was gonna, Joanna was a pretty heavy underdog.
Yeah.
And
She said, bow down.
Yeah.
Bow down.
Carla could not get a single takedown, and Joanna just pieced
Put on
her
a
up
show.
for like 2 rounds, I think is how long it went. But people have counted out Carla since then. They were like, oh, look at this. She's trash. But she's really, for a while she was kind of trading wins and losses. She's always been in that top 10.
Yep.
But I definitely think she's a little underrated at this point. Her fights aren't always the most exciting, but can't fault her for getting the W.
Doing what you got to do to win.
That win over Watterson, very impressive.
Yeah.
She had another win, I believe, right before that I watched. Or no, after that, she beat Marina Rodriguez.
Oh, she's on a 4-fight win streak.
Yeah, I actually forgot that fight was after the Watterson fight. Yeah, that happened, Whitaker versus Till back
that just happened in July.
Yeah, that was another fight. I thought Marina Rodriguez, the kind of the up-and-comer type, I was like, all right, this is going to be her fight. And then, nope, Carla looked pretty good in that one, man.
Yeah.
She's on 4-fight win streak, but she's going up against a savage.
Mm-hmm.
And Amanda Rivas.
5-fight win streak.
Looked sick against Paige, as most people expected.
Outclassed.
Um,
Only one loss.
Yeah, she's 10-1. KO lost to Polyana Viana in Jungle Fight.
Wow. She's in the UFC now, isn't she?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but overall, man, I'm, obviously on paper, I feel like Rivas has the, Rivas should win this fight.
Yeah.
She's the one with more potential. She's the one that's on
This could be where the
the
bet comes
company's
into play.
really trying to, build her up to be like a star in the women's division. She's done a great job of, smiling for the camera, being real, cutesy, waving and stuff like that. People love her.
Mm-hmm.
But she just got that grit to her, man. She definitely is someone, as soon as you count her out, she'll literally just expose.
Yeah, this is a huge fight for both.
Yeah.
It really is a fight that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for it, though, overall.
Now, I wonder if that'll make the main card or not. we'll see how the rest of the fight card plays out.
I
Because
would-
we've got Gilbert versus Usman, Amanda versus Megan, and then this one so far.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
So it might make main card or a prelim headliner, depending on the rest of the fights, how they pan out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, it probably could be. Or I shouldn't say it probably could be. It definitely could be. It probably will be like the first fight, or it'll be like
Yeah.
the prelim headliner or
Yeah.
something. 'Cause those are both pretty decent names at this point, so
Yeah.
they definitely deserve some sort of higher spot on the card, you know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because that card will probably be stacked,
Yeah, oh yeah.
just based on what the UFC likes
End of
to
the
do.
year card.
Yeah. Moving on from there.
I'm looking at these next 2 bullet points and I'm sad.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple fights that are off. First one, Charles Oliveira is out of his scheduled fight with Beneil Dariush.
That
on
was going to be a banger.
October 3rd.
Oh, man.
So what do you think?
It sucks, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Undisclosed injury, probably. Anything
Yeah,
serious or...
I never saw what the actual injury was.
So, I mean, hopefully Oliveira, I always mess up his name. Hopefully Oliveira is not injured too seriously. Maybe book it for the end of the year. That was, of course, the guy that on our Versus episode, I matched him up with Dan Hooker. But taking on Dariush, who's on a tear right now. What is he, 13th, I think?
yeah,
Something like that. That's definitely a big fight. It's honestly kind of risky for Oliveira because he's on a tear right now. And he's ranked 6th. So fighting down in the rankings is a risk for him, but there's nothing for Dariush to lose in this one. So hopefully they can rebook it. Or just get a replacement because Beneil is on a tear right now. He's knocking out everybody.
Yeah, I am very upset. Because these are two guys that I think are very underrated.
Oh.
Oliveira, obviously.
We've said our piece on him.
He's almost top 5, so like in theory he's not. Like he's in that contention area.
Most
the fact
submissions
is-
in UFC history.
The fact is he's ranked 6 in his division. And yet this fight was being booked as like and he's coming off a couple of big wins, like that one against Kevin Lee.
Yeah,
And
dude.
he's fighting down.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be like the co-main of a
It was Anderson and...
yeah.
Or it is Anderson and Uriah
Yeah,
Hall.
and I'm just like, really? Like, I feel like Oliveira deserves a little more than that. But on the flip end, hopefully Beneil Dariush gets another opponent
That would be ideal.
because that guy is great, and I was really excited for that fight because it's kind of a
Striker versus grappler.
yeah, and also just the fact that there was a lot at stake for Dariush and
Yeah.
then really for Oliveira as well.
And Beneil's really good on the ground. Like, I may have just called him a striker, but he can hold his own. And we know how good Oliveira is. Again, the all-time leader in submissions in the UFC. So, again, if it doesn't get rebooked, hopefully they can get Beneil a replacement. That's still... Well, actually, October 3rd's right around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's only a couple weeks from now, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Just hope Dariush gets another opponent.
Yeah.
And then
I'm walking off.
Oh yeah, Dom's out. Dom's out for this one. Our scheduled excuse me. Sorry. Our scheduled co-main event for UFC 254.
Come on!
Are you good?
No!
Well, either shut up or sit down.
I'm doing both.
Somehow you're still interrupting me and you're like miles away. Anyways.
Tell him!
Dustin Poirier versus Tony Ferguson is off. It's off. You just have to rip the Band-Aid, you know, Dom? Anyways. I'm sad. I don't know if you guys could tell, but we're like kind of going through this news section and like maybe we don't sound as energetic as we should be, and that's probably because this announcement happened right before we started recording.
Pain.
Pain.
That's all I got. I'm so upset. Think about that card.
It's because Dustin Poirier had to be
No.
money hungry. I'm just
Very
kidding.
well
I'm just
deserved.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
According to Ariel Helwani, as of today, this is September 10th when we're recording this. You guys are hearing it on Friday. He had spoken with Dustin today, and apparently Dustin and the UFC couldn't come to terms on the right amount of money. So Dustin said he will be leaving his camp at American Top Team in Florida and going back home to Lafayette next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can send him over a little more money.
Yeah.
Because he said next week. That means he's
say.
still going to be training the rest of this week, and it's already Thursday and Friday, though, isn't it? It's done.
It's a big sad.
Yeah.
This fight was...
Co-maining Justin and Habib. Oh!
And now it's not happening at all. And probably never will happen.
And it's a fight that, truthfully, like, makes so much sense.
Yeah,
They've never
it
fought
does.
each other.
It literally made so much sense.
Oh, man.
And, like, what's next? Like, who do these guys fight now?
Connor. I mean,
What?
that's like the only option.
Is that really?
That's why I said
Are you
it.
being serious?
That's the only logical option. That's
Connor's
why I said
not fighting in 2020.
I know. I'm not saying they're going to fight this year. I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
For both guys.
They both need to fight this year. I mean, Dan Hooker for Tony might be an option.
Well, yeah, that fight would make sense for Tony.
Oliveira Poirier would make sense. But the UFC won't do it. They won't commit to Oliveira, it appears. But that's all that there is, man. That's it.
Just go into the last one.
Anyways,
I can't
we're
talk
big.
about
Yeah,
it.
we're big sad. So finally, now that we got that out of the way, I feel like we can kind of
We're gonna pick it back up.
Pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So our main story, I guess, for today.
This is a big old piece of news.
Ariel released a photo of Nick Diaz looking shredded in the gym. Apparently, he was doing a test weight cut.
A 14-week diet and training regimen.
Now, Dom, why would someone who hasn't fought in like 5 or 6 years be doing something like that?
He's back.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly, according to his
Now,
manager.
Nick Diaz could decide tomorrow that he would rather just smoke weed and eat whatever he wants.
Yeah. He looked good, dude.
He did look good, man. I was like,
They said he weighed between 165 and 175.
I mean, compare him.
And he
in
fights
that
at
picture-
170.
Compare him in that picture to how he looked in that interview with Ariel Helwani, like that came out like last year.
Yeah,
or whatever.
he looked
Not
ready.
that he looked bad in the interview. I mean, there was a lot
Well,
said about that video, but overall,
Well, think about it here. Who wants to put their body through a 14-week training regimen if you're not serious about coming back? Are you just doing that for shits and giggles? I mean, I wouldn't.
so then who's he going to be fighting?
Huh. It seems like the opportunities are endless, but at the same time, very limited. Is that possible?
It's weird because he has not fought literally since the Anderson Silva fight.
Yeah. That was 6 years ago.
Let's not do that again.
Again, that was at middleweight, but his natural weight class is welterweight. That's where he always fought his best. 26 wins, 9 losses, always game. If you've seen Nate fight, then you know how Nick fights.
Yeah.
Who does he fight, man? That's
My
I don't know.
ideal matchup, him versus Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, that would be fun. A rematch 18
Yeah.
years in the making. I saw that on Twitter, actually.
They
That's
fought 18 years ago.
18 years ago.
Yeah.
I think
for
that
those
was
of
it
you-
2002?
I thought it was like, it might have been. I don't know.
Dude, I think it was in 2002.
That's crazy.
Because they
For
were
the-
each like 20 years old.
For those of you that don't know much about the background for Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler,
They've been at it for a while.
well, Robbie in the very early 2000s was on the come up.
Yeah.
He was this guy that was knocking everybody out, full head of hair, real young, tough kid. Nick Diaz was a little more established, but he was looked at as a jiu-jitsu guy.
This is true.
He knocked out Robbie Lawler.
This is also
Embarrassed him. Talked shit to him while doing it.
Well, that part shouldn't surprise
Yeah.
you.
Robbie kind of goes on to have a bit of a disappointing career up until he comes back to the UFC.
Yeah,
and-
even in Strikeforce,
Yeah.
we've talked about it.
But Nick went to Strikeforce as well and became one of their top fighters that promotion ever had.
Yeah.
Dominant champion over
Yep.
there.
Yep.
He comes over to the UFC, does not have quite the, or back to the UFC, I should say, does not have quite the same kind of run. You know, he had the title fight with GSP.
Yep.
I always love that call out. Where you at, George?
I don't think George is hurt. I think he's scared.
I think he's scared to fight everybody around here.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, "Where you at, George?"
Dude, those two are savages.
I love the Diaz brothers, but that fight ends up being very one-sided for GSP. Then you have the fight with Anderson Silva where he's doing some crazy
he's
shit,
laying
like
down in the ring, and
but overall
flipping
it
him
ends
off.
up being a pretty point fight win for Anderson. So really, that's the last we've heard about him. I mean, we've not the last we've heard about him. You look back when Tyron Woodley won the belt from Robbie Lawler back in 2016. He was calling out Nick Diaz left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been there was rumors of him versus Masvidal after Masvidal took out Nate. That doesn't appear to be happening now. But overall, it looks like he might be coming back. And I think
big draw.
You have a guy who hasn't fought in 6 years go up against a guy who looks like he hasn't fought in 6 years. No offense, I love you, Robbie. I just think it's, all jokes aside, you have two guys that are at the obvious tail end of their careers.
And Robbie's a big name.
And Robbie's a big name.
Name.
You want a big name, but you don't want to just throw Nick to the fucking wolves, man.
Yeah.
Like, you put him in against these top 5 guys, and like the ring rust. I think ring rust is real, personally.
I think it just depends on the fighter.
Yeah.
Why they were out.
Who knows? Maybe he comes back and just looks incredible. But he's probably gonna need it. I don't want to call it a tune-up fight. It's still Robbie Lawler, but maybe I think he needs to be kind of slowly brought along.
Yeah.
But a guy like Robbie Lawler has the name value, and he's a guy that is still gonna give, I would assume, Diaz a tough fight.
Well, do you think Nick wants a title, or do you think he just wants to come back for big names?
Who knows with those guys, man. The Diaz brothers,
like Nate, I think, has made it clear he's only wanting big names.
I would say
right?
Nick's probably very similar.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But regardless, it definitely makes that division more exciting than what it already is. That division's stacked.
Do you have a name in mind?
Well,
you were going to say.
I mean, I said Leon earlier before we were recording.
Leon Edwards. Who's ranked 3rd.
I said that more so for Leon's sake because everybody's like, oh, well, Leon's boring. Leon doesn't have any big names. Well, he's getting screwed over and he's on the sidelines right now. So why not fight the brother of the guy that stole his fight against Jorge and beat the shit out of him? Like, if I'm Leon, that's what would want to go through my head.
I mean, I'm not against it just because...
But when you talk about it rankings-wise, like, throwing Nick into the wolves, well, like you said, Leon's
I mean,
third.
I wouldn't be against it. I'd be excited for it. I'd be happy to see Leon get that kind of opportunity.
And it could be a good fight.
It could be. We don't know what Nick Diaz is going to look like. It's not like he looked bad.
That creates excitement.
It's not like he looked bad. I mean, he was going up against Anderson Silva and GSP. Like, those are our top 2 fighters of all time, and he went to a decision and at least kept it somewhat competitive. So, overall, like, I definitely think that's a fight that could be booked. I personally... It might even be a bigger fight than him versus Robbie at this point. Obviously rankings wise, it would be.
Yeah.
But,
well, what if they booked it on the same card as Jorge and Nate?
I'd be down for that. Co-main.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick.
It would be sick. Maybe that's what they're.
That would be a nice card.
The timeline kind of matches up, doesn't it?
And just look at the storyline. Leon's co-maining for Jorge, a guy that he's called out and got punched in the face by him backstage. Ooh, man!
Doesn't it kind of? The creative juices are flowing.
Yeah, that could be a real. His manager told Ariel, early 2021 he will fight.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
And Nate and Jorge are
the first
in talks to fight January 2021.
Yeah.
And that is early.
Yeah.
So
it's as early as it gets.
Yeah.
No, that's actually it's starting to make a lot more sense.
That'd be
a Diaz squared.
Back. Yeah, man.
Diaz squared.
You talk about buy rate. Woo.
Yeah. But more news to come on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get Nick to actually
commit,
say something about it. You know, that's it's tough to get him for any sort of interview nowadays, but that's the end of the news. And now it's on
preview
about these fights.
UFC Vegas 10. We're in double digits.
Watterson versus Hill.
I genuinely am losing count of these cards.
And here soon we're going back to Fight Island.
Yeah, and it's going to be Fight Island 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Woo!
So,
Okay.
First fight to talk about here.
Yeah.
Featherweight action.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Quarantillo going up against Kyle Nelson. Dom, break it down.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty here, all right? We've got Billy Quarantillo. Is 14-2, 5 KO, TKOs, 5 subs. Nice and even on both sides, you know? So that's 10 out of 14 wins. By finish, he is 3-0 in the UFC if you count his win on the Contender Series. And then he also is on a 7-fight win streak currently. And Billy, fun fact, appeared on The Ultimate Fighter Season 22. And I did not know that.
Oh.
Yeah. And he, of course, is going up against Kyle Nelson, who is 13-3. So when you look at the records, you really can't get a better matchup. They both have 16 fights. Billy has 1 more win. Kyle also has 5 KO TKOs and 4 submissions. So literally, both have finished or only went to a decision in 4 of their wins. The only kind of thing that differentiates the two, Kyle Nelson is 1-2 in the UFC currently. So it's definitely going to be a good matchup. I am, however, leaning toward Billy, a little bit more hype toward him. I think he may be the more well-rounded guy. I think this could be a good fight, but I'm going to go a 3rd round submission win for Billy Quarantillo in this one.
Cool. Yeah, I got a chance to watch Quarantillo fight back on Fight Island, I believe is when he was... Yeah, that's when he fought.
Yeah, he fought recently.
Fought Spike Carlisle.
That's a sick name.
Those are 2 sick names. The last
Spike is just like a cool first name.
I disagree, but...
Okay. Whatever.
Maybe for a kid in the 90s.
All right, man.
I feel like that would be like a side character on Malcolm in the Middle or something. Anyways.
To anyone out there named Spike, that was Noah, not me. Okay?
True.
Anyways.
I really liked him in that fight. He
Yeah.
looked great. It was a great fight. And I'm definitely buying into him. Kyle Nelson also kind of has that, like, he's a younger guy. He's only 29. Coming off an impressive TKO win over Polo Reyes. Only a minute and 30 seconds into the fight. He has the TKO loss to Diego Ferreira. Actually, he beat Kamaworthy.
There you go. Yeah. I think I had that written down somewhere.
Knocked out Kamaworthy in a minute back in 2017 before either guy was in the UFC. So he's definitely capable of showing some things here. I'm still going to stick with Quarantillo just because I feel like I know more about him. I feel like I personally have seen him look great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with decision, though. I think Kyle Nelson, he's only lost 3 times. One was a decision loss. He lost by TKO to Diego Ferreira and arm triangle to Matt Sales. So overall, you got a guy that's 1-2 in the UFC, and Kyle Nelson. And on the other end, Billy is he
Technically, he's 3-0 if you count the Contender
okay, so
Series.
he's 3-0. I just think it's definitely leaning in Billy's favor here. I'm going to go by decision, though. I'll give Kyle Nelson that much credit to say he can outlast. But
I can see it being a really technical
I think
fight.
overall it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah.
So moving on from there. Next on the agenda, Ed Herman, 39-year-old Ed Herman,
A true vet.
going up against Mike Rodriguez, who fought 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
So break it down.
Break it down. Ed Herman, 25 wins, 14 losses, 7 KO TKOs, 13 submissions. That's 20 out of 25 wins via finish. He's 12-10 in the UFC with 1 no contest. Some notable wins for Ed. He beat Tim Boach by knockout, and he also beat Patrick Cummins via TKO. Some notable losses. He lost to Kendall Grove, and you know, a lot of people listening to this might not know who Kendall Grove is. But again, that's like when I first got into the UFC, so I just had to give a shout out to Kendall Grove. He was super long and lanky back in the day. You didn't see many tall fighters back then. Shout out Kendall Grove. He lost to him by unanimous decision. He's lost to Damian Maia by submission. He lost to Jacare Souza in Strikeforce by submission. He lost to Tyus Latis by decision. He lost to Derek Brunson by TKO. He's been beat by Nikita Krylov by KO. And CB Dalloway and Jean Vellante both beat him by split decision. So that was a lot of losses I just named, but all of them notable in my opinion.
Agreed.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got Mike Rodriguez, who is 11-4, 9 KO TKOs, 2 subs. That's right. That's a 100% finish rate, baby.
Yeah, it is.
He's 3-2 in the UFC with 1 no contest, if you count one fight on the Contender Series that he won. And a notable win is the one that just happened, so I had to bring it up. He just fought Marcin Prachnio on August 22nd and KO'd him. So I had to point that out. Even though the name might not be that big, it just happened.
Wasn't that the fight that we said was going to be like loser leaves the brand? Am I right on that?
I think it was I don't know. Maybe.
Was that Prachnio? I'm
Maybe.
going to go look. Keep talking.
Well, and then he has one notable loss, in my opinion, and that came to Devin Clark, which was a unanimous decision. And
yeah,
again,
that was the fight that we said would be like the loser leaves kind of thing, because Prachnio had just not been able to get it done in the UFC, while Rodriguez had kind of traded wins and losses a little bit. But he looked great.
Yeah, he did. The elbow and punches. I believe that was out of the clinch, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
This could be an interesting fight. I see it being, even though Ed has a lot of submission wins, I see it being a stand-up war, to be honest.
I kind of do too, and I don't know how much of a war it's actually going to end up being.
I think we're going to have the same prediction.
I'm going to go with Mike Rodriguez first round KO TKO.
On to the third fight.
Is that what you were going to say?
I think Rodriguez gets it done. No slouch in Ed Herman.
Yeah, what's funny though is I was tempted to pick Ed Herman, but man, Rodriguez looked good in his last fight, and overall, like, even though I kind of pegged that fight with him and Prachnio as being loser leaves, that was really more for Prachnio. While you know, obviously, if he had lost, he would have been 1-3 in the UFC. Now he's actually 3-2 with the Contender Series, but you know, his losses like Devin Clark, that's no slouch.
Yep.
Then he lost to Da Un Jung. That was not a guy I know much about, but and that was also a loss, ground and pound, 1 minute into the first round. It's tough, man. I do think in his wins, though, his wins have spoken that he put some highlight reel finishes together.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you have a 100% finish rate, you're putting on great fights.
And Ed Herman's 39. He's been fighting for a long time.
Tough season 3.
Yeah.
All the way back in 2006.
Yeah, I think this is going to go to Rodriguez. I really do.
I agree.
All right.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. Roxanne Modafferi going up against
Roxanne.
Andrea Lee.
I don't know the words of the rest of the song, but you get what I'm saying.
Thank you for
Roxanne Modafferi is a true pioneer for women's mixed martial arts.
Nice.
In every sense of the word. She may not be a household name like a Ronda Rousey, a Miesha Tate, so on and so forth. She has 41 professional fights. How many other women mixed martial artists can you name with 40-plus fights? That screams women's pioneer to me. Yeah. At a time when it was in the dark days, nobody even knew they were fighting each other, right? Roxanne is 24-17. She's got 4 KO TKOs, 5 submissions. She's 3-4 in the UFC with notable wins over Andrea Lee, funny enough, who she's fighting. That did come in Invicta back in 2014. She's beaten Antonina Shevchenko by split decision, and she beat Macy Barber by unanimous decision. Some notable losses, and I told Noah when he came over today, I did some digging with these two women in this fight. Roxanne lost to Shayna Baszler. I always forget.
That's Baszler.
Baszler. Yeah. Shayna Baszler back in 2006 in an organization called Mars. I literally put question mark next to it. If anyone knows who Shayna what is her last name? Baszler is another women's pioneer that was great friends with Ronda Rousey. They did the WWE together and all that fun stuff. So she lost to her all the way back in 2006. She also lost to Raquel Pennington via unanimous decision on the Ultimate Fighter Season 18 finale in 2013. She also lost to Jennifer Maia twice, one of which happened in Invicta. And if you don't know who Jennifer Maia is, she's getting the next title shot against Valentina Shevchenko.
Yes, she is.
That's a notable loss, if you ask me. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I'm just flipping the page. Roxanne has also lost to Nico Montano via unanimous decision, Sajara Eubanks by unanimous decision, and Lauren Murphy by unanimous decision. She has fought the who's who of women's mixed martial arts for almost 20 years. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. So she's a true veteran going up against Andrea Lee, who's not a newcomer, but a lot less fights. She's 11-4 overall. She's got 2 KO TKOs, 4 submissions. She's 3-2 in the UFC with notable wins over Rachel Ostovich via submission. That came in Invicta back in 2015. Mm-hmm. And she also beat Montana De La Rosa via unanimous decision, who we just talked about on Monday's episode.
She just fought.
And then notable losses, like I said, she lost to Roxanne back in the day in Invicta by split decision. She's lost to Joanne Calderwood by split decision. And Lauren Murphy by split decision. And here's my last little fun fact.
Okay.
I did digging, again, like I said, right? As an amateur, Andrea Lee fought against Caitlin Chookagian and lost via submission. But to me, that is so wild that she had fought her way back in the day, both as amateurs.
Now they're both
and Chookagian just fought for a title against Valentina, and then lost and beat her sister the very next fight.
Right.
Whew. That was a long one.
So both these fighters are actually coming off losses to Lauren Murphy.
Yes. A woman who I also just mentioned.
Both of their last fights.
Recently.
Lauren Murphy. Oh man, this is a tough one to judge here, right? Because on one hand, up until these back-to-back losses, man, Andrea Lee was looking great.
Yeah, she was.
And then she kind of gets. I mean, Joanne Calderwood, Lauren Murphy, no slouches.
Both top 5.
Both top 5. Roxanne Modafferi's always been someone trading. One win, one loss in the UFC.
Yep.
Most impressively, probably beating Macy Barber.
Even though she tore her ACL, but I'm not going to take that away from
before
Roxy.
she tore the ACL, she was getting dominated.
That was a fight where you see the veteran really showing the experience against the new up-and-coming prospect.
Look, I love Macy Barber. I know you do too. DM still
0 for 2.
0 for 2.
Third time's a charm's what they say.
But even regardless of the injury, she got dominated.
Yeah.
Before or after the injury, it was a domination. And that was truly her showing that vet.
Yeah, that's exactly
like the fight IQ.
Yeah.
Just extensive fighter IQ, because she's been fighting forever. Also beating Antonina Shevchenko, that's definitely a good win for her. Is Andrea Lee going to lose 3 in a row here?
I personally have Andrea Lee pulling out the submission. Or not submission, I'm sorry, I meant to say decision. Andrea Lee via decision avenging, I should say, her loss to Roxanne back in Invicta. I'm going Andrea Lee decision.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you, actually. Same decision, Andrea Lee. Oh man, both of these last 2 fights, I'm real close to giving it the other way, but I don't know, man. Roxanne, she just... I feel like now that we're both counting her out, she's going to come in and just dominate Andrea Lee. But Andrea Lee's good, man. I don't think... I don't really see her losing 3 in a row. That's kind of my... I know that MMA doesn't work that way, but
yeah,
that's kind of my basis here is I'm like, I really don't think she's going to go on a 3-fight skid here. While Roxanne always trades wins and losses.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all.
It's tough, man. That is probably the toughest fight of the night to predict, you know?
Yeah. But moving on from there, co-main event.
We've got a banger.
Oh, a
banger incoming.
Sound the
alarm.
Sound the alarm. Fight of the night alert. This is my prediction here. Otman Azetar, Kama Worthy.
Woo!
Bring it down.
Ooh, alrighty. So Ottman is undefeated. A perfect 12 wins, 0 losses, 9 KO TKOs, 2 submissions. That's 11 out of 12 via finish. He's 2-0 in the UFC with a notable win over Luis Pena. If you don't know him, that's who they call the Violent Bob Ross. And he submitted him. Notable losses. This is where I did a little more digging. I forgot to mention these to you. I mentioned one of them. He actually lost to Paul Felder via TKO. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to the wrong fighter. I got ahead of myself. I'm so sorry. Take that back. Rewind, reverse. Ottman is who I was at. Sorry. He's 1-0 in the UFC. The younger brother of UFC middleweight Abu Azaitar. And out of his 11 finishes, 9 of them have came via the first round. Mm-hmm. Now on to Kama. Sorry if anybody got confused. I really am excited for this fight. Kama is 16-6 with 9 KO TKOs in 3 submissions. So he's finished 12 out of 16. He's 2-0 in the UFC. Notable win over Luis Pena. Mm-hmm. The Violent Bob Ross submitted him. So there's where the actual stat comes into play. Notable loss. Paul Felder beat him via TKO back in 2012.
That's crazy.
At Pinnacle FC.
Nice.
And then he also lost to featured fighter on the card, Billy Corntillo, via TKO in SOFC back in 2015. So, yeah.
I think it's also notable that the way he beat Devontae Smith, being the fact that he was a plus, 800 underdog for that fight. Oh, crazy. You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Going into that fight with Pena, that was kind of like what people were saying was Kama Worthy was it was one of the biggest upset wins if you go by betting odds ever.
Right.
Not necessarily a fight that had a ton of hype around it, but Kama Worthy's been a guy that's been kind of a journeyman. And then he starches Devontae Smith. Guess what? Starches Luis Pena.
He's on a tear right now.
He is on a tear.
What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 in a row.
Yes.
Versus
7
an undefeated 12-0 fighter? Sign me up.
Woo! Also might be noteworthy that he is also... This is kind of funny. He also lost to Kyle Nelson.
Wait a minute.
So our whole first fight of the night...
He's fought both of them.
And lost to both of them.
Gee,
and look at him. Co-main.
Yeah, he's co-maining.
While they're starting the night off.
Wow.
That's funny. Not really... I don't know how... It's not really noteworthy, but it's just...
But hey,
cool.
I mean, that's crazy.
Wow. Man, that knockout win he had...
Brutal.
At 242.
See ya. Right behind the ear, flatline.
And all you have to do is just look at this guy's resume. Not even who he's fought. It doesn't matter.
Facts.
He's 12-0, excuse me. And he's literally finishing everybody.
He's a beast. Absolute beast.
Dom,
this is going to be fight of the night, even though it's only lasting 1 round.
Oh, so who's winning?
Someone's getting slept in the first round. Can I play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo?
No.
I'm going to have to go with Ottman, man. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go against an undefeated fighter with a lot of hype behind him. That last knockout he had was absolutely brutal. I think this is an all-out war for 1 round, but Ottman ultimately gets the first round KO TKO. Oh,
I'm going spoiler. Second round KO TKO.
For Kama?
Kama Worthy.
Oh, man.
Again, guy had been a journeyman, but 7 in a row, man. I don't think he's much of a journeyman anymore.
No, you can't say that.
He's looked great. Now, Ottman, look, he's only had the 1 fight, looked incredible. Has shown nothing short of being just incredible. But guess what? Kama Worthy thrives when he's the underdog, man.
Yeah,
he's the underdog against
true.
Pena, underdog against Smith. He said, keep making me the underdog.
He'll be a significant underdog coming into this, I'd have to imagine.
I would imagine. And I think that O has got to go.
Man.
And what better man to do it than Kama, I believe his nickname's Death Star.
Really?
Worthy.
I'm changing my... No, I'm just kidding.
Kama the Death Star Worthy.
That's going to be an absolute war.
I'm on the Kama train.
All right.
Give my man a title fight.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding. But
top 15s. You get a top 15.
I feel the same way about him that I do like OSP.
Yeah.
Just love him. But yeah, that's my pick for fight of the night. It was, it's either that or Quarantillo and Nelson. I would say those are the two that stick out to me. Is that what you would say is going to be your fight of the night going in?
I'm going Ottman Kamaworthy. Yeah, fight of the night, regardless
even
if it's only one round.
I mean, hey, stranger things have happened than that.
Oh yeah.
But now it's main event time.
It's time.
Michelle Waterson, Angela Hill.
I just want to say, and I've already said this in a prior episode, I don't like all the hate that this fight's getting.
I don't either.
It's getting hated on.
Now,
I don't like it. I get it.
Now,
right?
let's, so the audience knows.
We lost a great fight.
The main event, my boy,
making his comeback.
Thiago Santos was supposed to destroy Glover Teixeira in the main event. However, it was not meant to be. Glover, I believe, tested positive for COVID. That fight's been pushed back a couple weeks.
October 3rd. Still right around the corner.
So I was still excited to see it. However, because of that, this was the
co-main, yep.
Now the main event. And people were shitting on it because it's not a main event level fight. And that's not wrong. Like, it's not. I'm still more excited for this than I was for...
Waterson's headlined multiple times, if I'm not mistaken, Fight Night cards.
I mean...
And Angela's finally getting her limelight.
Yeah, but Michelle's also lost 2 in a row.
Look at the people. Look. Let me get into this. Let me get into it.
But no. I just want to say that, like, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And overall, the rest of the card is definitely good. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
And
main event is not the only thing that sells me on a card.
Yeah. And they chose to go all 5 rounds rather than just doing 3 like Smith and Rakic did. So shout out to them for doing that, too. Because they weren't training for 5 rounds.
But look, I'm just saying it's not a main event level fight. It's just not.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty.
Not in their current situations, it's not a main event level fight. Are you disagreeing?
I'm just saying Waterson's headline multiple times
Okay,
before.
but that was like 4 years ago.
Nuh-uh.
She did. I believe she did headline with Joanna. You're right.
And Paige was a headline.
That was 4 years ago.
That's 2 headlines. Potentially
that was
more.
4 years ago.
Don't get me into. Don't get me heated.
Okay. She headlined with Joanna, got starched. Bye. And then she loses to Carla.
Nah.
Oh,
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, it's an L.
But she lost.
It's an L.
It's all right. We said John Jones lost.
I know, that's true. Okay, look, you're getting a little too heated.
I'm just mad.
Maybe I should start here, because I feel like you're just getting a little too flustered.
Put some respect on both their names. This is a big fight for both. Waterson's on a losing streak.
Yeah.
And she's trying to be mom champ. Angela Hill is on a tear and then just got beat in a very close decision that you could argue she won against top 5 fighter Claudia Gadelha.
All right. You know what? Just go ahead. You got the energy rolling. Just lay it on them.
Michelle Waterson, 17 wins, 8 losses. 3 KO TKOs, 9 submissions. That's 12 out of 17 via finish. She's 5-4 in the UFC. Notable wins against 12 gauge Paige Van Zant via submission, Courtney Casey via split decision, Felice Herrig via unanimous decision, and the sweetest woman in the UFC, Karolina Kowalkiewicz, by unanimous decision. Notable losses for Michelle. She lost to Rose Namajunas via submission, Tisha Torres by unanimous decision, Joanna Jędrzejczyk by unanimous decision, and then most recently Carla Esparza in a very close split decision loss. Angela Hill is 12-8 with 5 KO TKOs. She is 7-9 in the UFC.
Wait.
You heard me right.
Wait.
She's had 2 stints in the UFC. We already talked about this.
No. Hold on.
Right in the middle of I was on a roll. And you're making me pause.
Wait. I don't think you heard what you said.
What?
She's okay. Angela Hill.
Yeah.
Her total record overall
12-8.
12-8.
That's 20 fights.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just said she's 7-9 in the UFC.
Yeah, that's 16.
But that's 9 losses. That's one more loss than she has in her total.
Oh. Well, she's 7-8 in the UFC then. Whatever. I counted wrong, man.
I heard that and I was like, wait a minute. It's like, something ain't adding up right there. I'm like, I don't think you got this right. And you're just like, yeah, 20 fights. That's 16 fights. That's less than 20. Yeah, I fucking know it's less than 20, Dom.
So she's 7-8 in the UFC. Anyways,
All right.
we've got notable wins. Ashley Yoder via unanimous decision. And a dominant win against Hannah Cyphers via TKO earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. That was this year, right? Hannah Cyphers? Was that this year? She fights all the damn time. She's had like 18 fights.
It was this year.
Notable losses. We've got a list
We
here.
got a lot.
Cookie Monster Carla Esparza via submission on the Ultimate Fighter Season 20, opening round, day 4, to be precise. That was back in 2014. She lost to Tisha Torres by unanimous decision. She lost to Rose Namajunas by submission. Jessica Andrade by unanimous decision. Nina Ansarov. That's how you say her last name, right?
I think so.
Ansarov. Via unanimous decision. Courtney Casey via split decision. Rhonda Marcos via submission. And then, like we already mentioned, most recently she had a razor-thin split decision loss to super tough, always ranked top 5, Claudia Gadella.
She also lost to Jan Zionan, who's another tough fighter. I don't know, I just noticed she skipped over that one, but I wanted to give her her due. Regardless, both of these women, look, they've had great careers. And I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on them when I'm saying it's not a main event worthy fight. It's just not. Am I more excited for this than I was for like Jessica I versus Cynthia Calvillo? Yes. And no disrespect to those two ladies either. I'm just saying that, like, obviously this in some ways, like, I get why people are mad. Well, I don't get why people are mad. I get why people are disappointed because they could have had Thiago Santos, Glover Teixeira as the main event, and then you have Michelle Waterson, Angela Hill. But by no means, this fight I think is gonna be good.
This is a tough
These
one.
are two girls that come in and go for it, man. Especially Angela Hill, she'll bring the pressure.
Yeah, and Michelle's going to have that counter-striking karate style.
Yeah.
Who's very slept on in the ground, by the way.
Also, shout out to Angela Hill, the first ever African-American woman to headline a UFC card.
In the history of the company.
History of the company. So shout out to her.
It's awesome, man.
I did say female, right? I said first African-American female.
If you didn't, you just did.
I just did. Okay. So just want to make that clear. But
this is...
I think I'm going to go Angela Hill by decision here.
Really?
You know, it's tough. It's really tough. Now, look, Michelle Waterson's last 2 losses. One, you could argue, wasn't really a loss at all to Esparza.
That was a really tough fight.
I thought Esparza won, personally. But I continue, like, again, it's one of those where it could have went either way and I wouldn't have been shocked. The Joanna fight was definitely more one-sided, but she showed a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Joanna's just
so
one of the
good,
best.
Man.
So those are 2, you know, they're losses, but it's like, especially one, it's like, is it a loss, though? I just still wonder if maybe she has one foot out the door. She's a mom, you know.
A lot of sponsorships, partnerships.
Yeah, I mean, she's 34. Not that that's too old to be fighting. Angela Hill might.
She's 35.
Yeah,
Angela.
she's older. But Angela Hill seems to really be hitting some sort of stride right now, even though she's coming off a loss. But it was a fight. That was one I thought was more egregious.
Yeah.
I thought she clearly won that fight.
And that's a big name.
And before that, she had 3 straight wins.
Yep.
So she definitely seems to be hitting some sort of stride here as she comes into kind of the tail end of her career. And I see Waterson kind of going the opposite direction, where it's like at one time I looked at her as being a title challenger potentially, and now she's like fighting to stay in the top 10 basically. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with Angela Hill. Shout out Waterson though. I love, like, both of these women are great. But I'm going Angela Hill by decision.
I should have thought about this more before we recorded. Dude, I don't know, man. Like,
I feel like I know. I thought
part of me wants to pull for Michelle.
See, that's what I thought.
But then
you were gonna
Angela's kind of on a tear right now. You could argue she's won 4 in a row. Put on a good performance against a top 5 just recently.
Yeah.
Way more active.
Yeah, she is way more active.
And it's not like Michelle doesn't
well,
fight.
that's not a slight on
Angela's
Michelle.
like the most active fighter in the UFC.
They call her the Cowboy Cerrone of the women's division.
Oh. She fought 6 times in 421 days.
I know, that's insane.
I'm going Angela Hill.
Bye. Come on.
I'm going to do a 5-round technical fight here. I'm going decision. Angela Hill. 3 rounds to 2, potentially even a split decision.
Okay.
I think it's going to be one of those razor thin. Could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Angela has more momentum. I love Michelle Watterson, but Angela's showing a lot of promise right now. I'm going Hill.
Yeah, and I mean, not that I feel like this should matter, but she may feel like she has something to prove here because she is the first African-American woman to headline a card. She has said that she wants to, post-fight, honor the recent deaths of police brutality and things like that. So, she's basically, because she said that's what she wanted to do in her last fight, didn't get the chance to there. So
she got a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She felt like she won that fight, felt like had it stripped from her. Now she's on a bigger stage here.
She could be hitting her prime right now, just a little later than some people do.
I just see the momentum swinging in her favor here. I could be. Hey, Watterson's got the technique and that counter striking to really present a problem to Angela Hill's style, who very much brings the pressure and does a lot of movement and whatnot. But I'm gonna stick with Angela by decision.
It's tough.
Is that what you were gonna stick with?
Yeah, I'm not changing.
That's hashtag UFC Vegas 10.
Another preview in the books.
I was about to say the same thing. Just close the book on that.
There goes the notepad.
Yeah. I wanted to also make note. I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but this is our first official. Obviously, you can find all of our episodes on many streaming platforms now, like Spotify, Apple, Google. Still on YouTube, Anchor. However, this is the first one we're recording that's going to all of those immediately.
Yes.
I don't know if that's really noteworthy or not, but I just
kind of
wanted to say that. To me, it feels like a new era. And
this is the first episode where everything is made known.
Yeah.
Like, we're out there. Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor.
It's very strange because it feels like we're in a new era, yet we've only done it for a month.
Yeah.
It's like this is the new era.
It's the new book, right? The new chapter.
New chapter. So very excited about what's going on there, what we're cooking. As for our next couple episodes here, Monday, big recap show, talking about everything that happens this Saturday with UFC Vegas 10. We'll break down all the results, say who's next for some of the top fighters on the card. This and that. Talk about the news that comes out between now and then. Then Wednesday,
another special episode.
And this one, deservedly so, is going to be a little extra special. And we say that
about everyone, huh?
But again, we just had this big milestone. We hit the 1 month.
We've done our top 10 fighters of all time.
Yeah, we've done a lot. We've been hitting a lot of our goals. We've been doing a lot of big things. We've had a lot of just vocal supporters, and we wanted to do something for them. And this is something that's been asked from us. It's been requested multiple times. So what better time to do it than now?
Yeah.
We're going to be going over our top fights of all time. And I'm going to leave it there because we'll get into the logistics of that when the episode comes.
Fair enough.
Because I know what you're going to ask me. But overall, top fights of all time. Will it be a top 5? Will it be a top 10? Will it be a cumulative list? I don't know. You have to tune in to find out. But this is an episode that I'm very excited about because, once again, I get to kind of dive into history and really pull out some fights that most people probably have never even heard about.
Yeah.
And overall, it'll just, for a lot of the newer people watching us that are trying to get into the sport, this could be an episode that you might want to take notes on and
go back and watch them.
Yeah. After
the fact. Yeah, I agree.
But those are our next 2 episodes, and Dom, tell the good people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at dslee14. You can find our podcast Instagram at below_average_joes_podcast. And now we've got a whole lot of other things to plug. I'm not going to plug every link. Just know that in the description of our episodes now, we'll have Spotify, Apple, Google, our donation link on Anchor. We'll have our Anchor website. It'll all be linked down there. Again, on our Anchor website, don't forget you can leave us voice messages that we can include in future episodes for the community to hear. We want to utilize that feature.
Yeah, I'm going to say this more towards the beginning of probably the next episode, if I remember. That's something I wanted to touch on with those voice messages.
Requests.
Because you guys have been so good to us so far and have just been killing it. If you leave a voice message, you can do a question.
Yeah.
You can do a comment.
Yeah.
You can do a prediction.
Yeah.
You can do a request.
Yeah, make a request for a special episode.
Anything you want, and
we will take it heavily into consideration.
Well, okay. I was going to say it will be on the episode, but I know some of you freaks out there are going to be saying
no guarantees on a feature.
As long as it's clean,
they will be highly considered.
It'll be very much considered to be
we want to build the community, right? Yeah. And what better way than to, take what our fans say and share it with other fans.
Tell me if I'm wrong. You don't have to pay money to record a message.
No.
So this is free. You just have to literally just record a voice message, and as long as you're okay with it being shown on the episode.
It's a shout out, essentially.
Yeah.
And you might have you might blow our minds.
And if it's something that blows our minds away enough, we might keep bringing you back.
Yeah, break down a whole fight.
Yeah.
Make requests for special episodes. We want to really... This is where, with all these new features, with Anchor, again, shout out to Anchor, we're only scratching the surface of this community and all the possibilities.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. As for me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ntbaker_. And with that, we're out, and we'll see y'all on Monday.